everybody, Sensei Ross here. The session we were talking about today is on Yaksukis, so I'm going to go through the reason we do Yaksukis and the best way to set yourself up to make sure that they're effective. So Yaksukis basically showing what the movements would be when you're sparring or fighting. There's a little bit more formal than that, so it's a bit more kata-like in terms of the way we block and the way we retaliate. So when we're setting up a Yaksuki, we stand in the most vulnerable stance that we can, which is a hug-a-duck stance. So we haven't got balance back and forth, so we could get pushed around. So we're not in a fighting stance, we're just in a vulnerable stance, our hands by our sides. So we need to be able to defend ourselves from this position. So that's what a Yaksuki is. So we always start in hug-a-duck, and our attacker, when we're facing our attacker, is in a fighting stance. So they're going to be throwing whatever strike we're going to ask them to throw. So it might be a punch, kick, whatever. But I just want to show you the basics of a Yaksuki and how we build that through the grading process. So we start with grade 1 Yaksukis, where it's just one block, one retaliation, and we work up to grade 3s, where there's one block and up to 3 retaliations. With the retaliations, we need to see that you actually have got a target that's meaningful. So we want to see that you're aiming on your attacker for a vulnerable part of their body. There's no point punching them in the arm, on the side of the leg, if it's just a one punch or one kick retaliation. We want to see that it's going to do some damage because it could be a life-threatening situation that you're in. So you want to make sure that you're putting them in a position where they can't attack you again. So that's what Yaksuki is about. With the blocking side of the Yaksuki, we need to see that you're able to get off the line of attack. So when a strike is coming at you, we're getting out of the road, we're getting into a nice fighting stance so that we can retaliate. Distance is very important too. And if you backpedal too far, you're not going to be able to retaliate, you're not going to be able to actually strike them. So we need to see that the distance is correct as well. And if you're getting too close, there's no point throwing a kick because they're right up against you. So it's got to make sense from a fighting perspective that the retaliations that you're throwing are within the right range, and also that you're generating the right amount of power into those strikes. So that's the basics around the Yaksukis. You'll hear us talk about dead side, live side. So I've got Ryan here who's going to give me a hand today. So Ryan's my son. He's trained at karate at Bokito for a long time, from about the age of 6 through to 18. And was one of the instructors of our kids program going through high school. So he hasn't trained with us for a while, but he's helping me today because it's corona friendly. We're exempt in this situation. So we talk about live side. So if I'm defending an attack from Ryan and he's going to throw a punch at my head, for example, if I step this side, this is the live side because he can still throw a punch at me from there. So I haven't really negated that that weapon over there. Whereas if I blocked that same punch, this side, this is the dead side. He hasn't got too many weapons. He could probably throw a side kick at me from there, but he cannot throw a punch from around there. He's going to have to work all the way around his body to do that. So I'm in a much better situation if I'm blocking to the live side. But yes, thanks, Ross. Nice. What I'm going to talk about today is Yaksukis where you do block to the live side or you do block to the dead side as well. So I'm going to go through a number of them. We'll probably do 10 Yaksukis. I think up to black belt you need to do 10 Yaksukis, all grade 3s or level 3s. So this video is about getting you ready for that, but it doesn't matter, you can do grade 1 Yaksukis whether you're going to 9th Q or black belt. So just to give you some ideas. And when you're doing your Yaksukis, we obviously don't want to see the same techniques all the time. So you're great at throwing Jodan Sukis, we don't want to see that all the time. We want to see it attacks off both sides of your body. You're able to defend off both sides of your body, left and right. You can throw kicks off both legs, so we want you to mix it up. So I'm going to go through 10 examples and you can work out your own Yaksukis from there, but pretty much the world's your oyster in terms of how you set them up, but we want to see that they're effective. So we want to see you be able to defend yourself, get off the line of attack, come back with a retaliation that is meaningful and is going to get you out of trouble. So that's what the Yaksuki is about. So I'm going to do one to start with. So Ryan, I'll get you back here. So what we're going to do here is Ryan's going to come in with a titsuri overhead strike. So it's a basic upper block that I'm going to do here. So he's going to come in with his right hand. I'm going to step off the line, okay? And I'm doing a nice strong upper block. So we practice these in class. It's above my head, protecting my head. And I've moved from that hugger-dutch stance into a fighting stance. And I'm setting up for a strike. Hands back here. I've opened up his jaw, and before he can hit me, bang, that's what my target is, okay? So I'm going to throw a Jodan Suki. Now, grade 1 Yaksuki means we have to, we have to do a ki-eye on the first strike. If it was a grade 2 Yaksuki, we'd throw a ki-eye on the second strike. Grade 3, the ki-eyes on the third strike. So this is a grade 1 Yaksuki, so we're just going to do basic upper block. Hey! Get back into a defensive stance, and then we're back into hugger-dutch. So if we're doing a grading, do it again, Ryan. I've moved, I've thrown my strike, I've ki-eyed, I step back into a defensive stance with my hands up, still in a fighting stance, so I could potentially come back. If he's coming back at me again, that one punch might have been enough and he's on the ground. But I'm still ready to go. There might be another person there. That's what we're saying is throw your strike, but stay ready. Then we just come back into our formal hugger-dutch stance. And if this was a grading, I'd be waiting for the next instruction from the black belt who's grading me. I better say next Yaksuki or whatever the next instruction is. So that's how Yaksukis work. We can build that up. So if, you know, grade 2, so we can do that. Jodan Suki, Chudan Suki. Okay, so I've thrown the second strike, I ki-eye on the second strike with that one. So grade 2 Yaksuki. Hey. Hey! Come back in. And that's the grade 2 Yaksuki done. Last one, to make that a grade 3 Yaksuki, I can finish that up with a third strike. So the first two have stunned. I'm going to finish off with an empire strike to the face. So this is what it looks like. So it comes in, back out, and the Yaksuki is finished there. You see I had to make up ground, so do it. I pushed him back, so I've just slid up. So I've used those, you know, the foot movements that we practice to slide up, get some power in with an elbow, through the jaw, back out, and then finish the Yaksuki. Right. Thanks, Ryan. So I'm going to go through another 9 of those. I'm just going to do these in segmented videos, and I'm sure Shiroshi will put it all together. So you'll see more of these coming through. Right.